We have our guest now ready. He is C.J. Pearson, 15 years old, political activist, writer, and commentator, national chairman of Teens for Trump. The website is cjpearson.org. CJ, good to have you on the show today.
Hey, Paul, it's a pleasure to be here.
Now, of course, we had Hillary Clinton, CJ, come out earlier and basically say that Trump was blowing on this racist dog whistle by attacking the NFL, and that he's basically attacking black people. We had the MSNBC guest I mentioned earlier say that he was basically coming out and saying the N-word at his Alabama rally, even though he didn't say the N-word, went nowhere near anything racial. Now we have a poll. The majority of African Americans, 48 to 37%, agree with Trump that NFL players should stand for the anthem. So, I mean, CJ, is Donald Trump attacking players who take a knee because he hates black people or because he hates seeing America being disrespected?
I think it's certainly the latter. He hates seeing America being disrespected. I think few people like Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Ben Carson would argue that Donald Trump hates black people. I doubt the black surgeon general that Donald Trump appointed would argue that Donald Trump hates black people. You know, the lunacy that we are hearing from people like Hillary Clinton and that guest that you cited on MSNBC is absolutely just maddening in a way. Like you said in your intro, Trump derangement syndrome is seemingly, it knows no bounds, and it's completely insane to me because everything that comes out of his mouth of this president has to be racist, it has to be bigoted, it has to be some sign or indicator of white supremacy. And it's completely ludicrous. This is a man who is defending our country, our nation, and the sacrifices of so many people who have died fighting for this country. And a majority of Americans agree with him. And that's the thing, a majority of Americans agree with him. And for Hillary Clinton to claim that somehow, some way, that by attacking the NFL, that Donald Trump is attacking black people, I'd actually ask her to look at the NFL and its demographic makeup. There's only one minority owner in the NFL, and everyone else, well, they're not motivated by their passion for the cause that Colin Kaepernick is kneeling for anyways. They're motivated by the ratings. They're motivated by the money. And the fact that they're willing to cash in on disrespect of this country is absolutely disgusting.
Now, of course, we had Sheila Jackson Lee, Congresswoman, today take a knee. They've seemed to figure out amongst themselves. I mean, in the first day or so, they didn't really know why they were doing it again because there haven't been any high-profile cases of police brutality. But, I mean, 16 unarmed black men shot dead by cops every year. Yes, that's 16 too many. But CJ, 2,400 on average black men shot by other black men every single year in the United States. What should we be taking a knee for, given those circumstances? Which do you think is the most pressing issue for the black community?
You're right, and those issues are incredibly important. Those are all issues that our president, who's accused of white supremacy and racism every single day, seeks to shine a light on every single day. He seeks to shine a light on that issue. He seeks to shine a light on the issue that 59% of black youth are unemployed in this country, and this is a problem that has plagued America since the start of the Obama administration. This is a president who's accused of racism every single day for caring about the plight of black America in this country. If they want to take a knee, maybe they should take a knee for the black babies who are dying every single day in Chicago. Maybe they should take a knee for the children who can't find a job in the inner cities of America because their communities are ran by incompetent Democratic politicians who are reelected time and time again, regardless of the incompetence they show towards the plight of black America. This is a president who has shown concern for black America. This is a president who cares about black America. And to accuse him of racism and bigotry just to fit the narrative is absolutely disgusting.
You mentioned it there, 300,000 black babies aborted every year in the United States. So those lives don't seem to matter. Those black lives don't seem to matter to people if they're in the womb and you can kill them and you're a progressive. That's not even part of the debate. Again, in Chicago, you've literally got relentless carnage. You've got 700 dead black people every single year in Chicago. The weekends are an absolute train wreck. Every single weekend. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about this police brutality issue, which has flared up with these individual cases. Some of them egregious, like, Eric Garner, others not. I would argue Michael Brown. It's a case of criminals are getting into violent confrontations with cops and seeing the consequence of that. But I want to talk about, some of the things that you've been subjected to, because again, this is what I notice. They save their most racist vitriol, the left, for smart black conservatives. You see it every time. You tweeted this the other day. I've been called the N-word by liberals far more than I have ever been called the N-word by any Republican, who are the real racists. You had black NFL players a couple of days ago who stood up for the anthem. You could go on Twitter, they were labeled the C word, they were labeled Uncle Toms, the worst thing you could imagine for their free speech, okay? They made a decision to do that for their free speech. CJ, do you think the left has any kind of moral high ground when it comes to dishing out the racist label, given that this is how they treat African Americans who dare to have a different opinion?
Yeah, they have no moral high ground now, and nor should they have ever, to be honest with you. You look at the history of this party, this is a party that was founded upon the pillars of racism. It was literally founded to preserve slavery, the idea that black people were property. This was a party founded to fight for that. That is their historical link. You can't run away from that. You can't run away from that. And now you come to the present tense. This is a party that is so-called the party of tolerance, right? But when a black boy says something that a black boy is supposed to say, I'm labeled an Uncle Tom. I'm labeled a house Negro. I'm labeled this and that. Well, the fact of the matter is that, like I said in my tweet, I've never been really called that by any Republican, but every single day I say something that the left doesn't like, I'm called that by every Democrat across the country. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's demeaning. And it's ironic. It's ironic because this is the party, right? They care about freedom of expression. But when we say things they don't like, they need their safe space, or they're angry with us, and they call us these things, and they seek to shut us down. But also, this is the party that supports people of color, right? Well, they don't support people of color who don't support them, and I think it just goes to show the limited tolerance that Democrats have for people who don't agree with their ideology.
No, I had Red Pill Black on, who is, you probably heard of her. She's getting big now. She's on Fox News the other day. She said the same thing. She said, obviously, she's an African-American woman. She used to get bullied at school for, quote, acting white, she said. Now, we had this NBA coach who came out yesterday and said that white people should be made to feel uncomfortable over this take a knee thing. We're talking about white privilege. We're talking about black people getting bullied for acting white. She said acting white equated to working hard and being smart. I mean, we all start at different baselines, but last time I checked, you didn't have to be white to work hard and to educate yourself. How much of this discussion over white privilege, CJ, is because some in the black community try to drag others back so as not to expose their own laziness, their own lack of get up and go in life. A lot of black people who are successful seem to experience that.
Definitely. And the thing I love about this country, the thing I love about America, the reason you will never catch me kneeling, the reason that I will always respect the red, white, and blue is because this is a country in which if you work hard and play by the rules, that you can be anything you set out to be. If you work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, you can be anything. This is America, a land of limitless opportunity. If you put your nose to the grindstone, you can succeed. That's what I love about this country. It doesn't matter if I'm white, if I'm black, if I'm Mexican. It doesn't matter. All I need to do is work hard and I can achieve. We see this in every community. People who are lazy, people who aren't doing anything, and they blame their situation on everything else but themselves. So eventually, if you've blamed everyone else but yourself, maybe you should just realize that you're the problem and not everyone else. The idea here is that this is America, and I am proud to be an American because this is a country that has given much to me, and I hope one day I can give as much as is given to me to this country, back to this country. Because like I said, this is a land of limitless opportunity. If you work hard and play by the rules, you can succeed. And I don't think in any other country is that sort of success as successful as it is here in America.
Now, I just want to ask you about this quickly, CJ, because, of course, Black Lives Matter ties into all that we're seeing now with the NFL. I vaguely remember you had some conversations with Black Lives Matter leaders a while back. What impression did those conversations leave you of BLM as a group? And do you think their primary goal is to improve racial harmony, or do they have a different agenda?
Yeah, definitely. So I've had the opportunity to, kind of have a dialogue with some of the leaders of Black Lives Matter. And, I got to say, there's some pretty interesting people. They care about the issue of police brutality, but at the end of the day, a lot of them, have kind of hopped onto this bandwagon that this is a suitable form of protest to protest the message they're talking about. You know, you probably noticed this, Paul. When people talk about Colin Kaepernick's protest, no one is talking about why he's doing it or the reason, you know, he claims to be doing it for. No one talks about that. People talk about the fact that he is disrespecting America by doing what he is doing. And so what I would have to say is Black Lives Matter really wants to achieve that racial harmony that they claim to want and claim to want to see here in this country. And they have to pull up a seat at the table and they need to talk about their issues. Kneeling on a football field in front of millions of Americans is not going to do anything but divide us further. A majority of Americans believe that what NFL players are doing is wrong, misguided, and downright disrespectful to the sacrifices of people who have died fighting for this country. That is not a way to achieve unity. That is not a way to bring us together. If they want to bring us together, have a seat at the table. There are multiple ways to voice your opinions here in America. This is America. You know, there is freedom of speech. Even if the left wants to shut it down sometimes, it still exists in this country. If they want to achieve something, talk about the issue. Don't disrespect our country while you do it.
And the polls show, as I mentioned before, 80% plus are just sick of having politics injected into everything. Like, people watch NFL to get away from the constant drumbeat of social justice and identity politics, and more people are turning off. CJ, we're running out of time. Just give us your website and where people can find you on Twitter.
Definitely. Well, people can follow me on Twitter at CJ Pearson. You can also check out my website at cjpearson.org. You can follow me on Instagram at CJPearson2, and my Facebook is facebook.com/CJPearson.
All right, really appreciate the time, CJ. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, there goes CJ Pearson. He's only 15 years old, political activist, writer, and commentator. Check him out at the CJ Pearson on Twitter. Check out his videos. A lot of them have gone viral in the aftermath of this NFL take a knee controversy. He's causing a lot of controversy himself among some people, but again, check out his viral videos on Twitter.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.